Next, let's look at putting together this other part here, which is the split component. Let's do that. Back to our code here. Let's see, we have bill amount. Everything is good there. Right where we finish our text field, still inside of our widget array there, let's add a row. Now, the reason why we're adding a row here, as you can see, we will have to add this text as a split, and then these 3 items, all of them are going to be in one row. Okay, that's why. So we have our row. There's a few properties we can pass here. First of all, I'm going to main axis. I'm going to say main axis. I'm going to make it so that there's space in between. Okay, you'll see in a second. And then for children, put a text right away. This text is going to say split, like that. And I'm going to add a style right away. Why not? It's going to be text style. And for our text style, as you know by now, let's just give a color. Say colors.gray. And I'm going to give a shade of about 700, like this. That looks good. Come down here, we can see it looks really nice there. There's split. And next, we're going to add these 3 components there. Actually, there's more items inside there, but let's just count them as 3. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to put inside of another row, let's say row, and I'm going to go straight to children, and the children. So the first child is going to be an inkwell. We could have used a different, more sophisticated widget such as gesture widget and so forth. But remember, gesture is a little bit more complex in the sense that it has more features than what we need. All we need really is just an inkwell, because we want to be able to tap and set the state. Okay, meaning in this case here, we want to create this minus button there. Okay, so we're going to use inkwell. It's the right approach. I'm going to say inkwell, and on tap, go ahead and set the state to do something. What is that we want to do? Well, in this case here, as you see, I want to be able to, if they tap on this minus, then we are going to go and decrement our split, or the amount of people, right? But here we have to think a little bit through. If, say, we have 0 and we tap minus, we don't want to go to -1 because that makes no sense. We don't want negative numbers. So we need to account for that. How to do so? Well, there's different ways to do so, but for simplicity, I can just go ahead and put an if statement here. So if person counter that we created earlier is greater than 1, if that's the case, then we're going to be able to say person minus, right? Decrement by 1. Imagine that we have 1 as the person counter. So 1 is greater than 1. That's not true, so it's not going to do anything. But if we have 2, so 2 is greater than 1, then we can decrement to 1. Else, in this case here, we don't have to do anything, so do nothing, really, right? Because this will take care of itself. Then next, I'm going to pass a child, because remember, we're inside of our inkwell, so it has a child property. We can pass a container for us. So now we're going to construct this very nice background there, just like we did before. And as you may have guessed, that's going to be, again, a decoration. Yes, indeed. But first, I'm going to add a width of about 40 and a height of also about 40. And then I'm going to just give a margin, just put edge insets. And I want all, actually, and let's give about 10 like this. So you can play with margin. And of course, decoration, that's where the fun begins. And for decoration here, I'm going to pass a box decoration. Border radius. I'm going to put a circular one with a 7. And let's give a color. And we have a purple color right now. I'm going to use purple like this. And I'm going to pass with opacity of about 0.1. If you save this, all of a sudden you're going to see we have this very awesome background, which is exactly the same as this. Okay? Now we need to pass the minus sign there. Not a problem. Outside our box decoration, I'm going to put a child. And for the child here, I'm going to say text, put minus. And if I want, let's put a style, text style. Let's say color. I'm going to put purple again. That's a color of choice. And let's work with font weight. I'm going to say font weight. Make it bold. And size, I'm going to say about 17.0. That looks really good. And I want to actually enclose this inside of a center. So I'm going to center widget, and voila, just like that, we're good. Notice now we have this very nice minus sign here. If you click, nothing happens yet, but we'll get there. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to add this number in between there. Very simply, let's see, we're still inside of our widgets, inside of our inkwell here, and let's add another text. This text here will have something like this, the number. If I save this, you're going to see, there it is. But what we're going to do, this number is going to be controlled by a variable that we know very well. So I'm going to say underscore, and the variable is going to be person counter like this. If I save, you should see it's going to say 1. Okay, and let's give it a little bit of style. Say style like that. Text style. Essentially the same what we had before, so I'm going to pass purple. The size is going to be also 17.0. Okay, save that. You can see there it is. Very good. That's it. And next we're going to add another inkwell here, right? Because we want to create exactly the same what we had created for minus. Now it's going to be for plus. Very simple. There's inkwell. On tab, what do we want to happen? We want to set the state. To set a state, simply we're just going to say person counter plus plus like this, right? And then child, we're going to pass a container. Width again is going to be the same we had before. Let's give a margin. We want all, and let's give a decoration. Box decoration, we know by now. Let's start with color, and I'm going to say purple again with opacity of that value, and border radius, say border circular about, let's see, 7. If you save, you can see now we have it very nicely, but we need to add the plus sign. Very simply, we're going to go, let's see, we're in our container. Give a child here, and I'm going to say text, say plus, style, text style, color, purple, font size, I'm going to say 17, font weight, bold, like this. Should look very good. Oh, it's right there, no problem. We need to center it, just like we did before, no problem. This text, to make it center, just go like that, and it's center, save, and you can see now it's in the middle. Very good. And even when you start tapping now, it goes ahead and increments, and notice once it gets to 0, it doesn't go to -0. So that is indeed what we want, and voila, it's looking really good. It looks exactly like this. Very good. Very good indeed. What I want you to do next is to create another row and see if you can add this tip and of course this value there. Okay, it's very simple. You can do that. Go ahead and do that before we go to the next video, and I'll see you shortly.